Every sunset in the evening signifies that the new sunrise and a new beginning is going to happen. Good evening, one and all present here. With great joy and immense exaltation, I extend my warm welcome to all the dignitaries, guests, and delegates present here for the webinar series organized by Diksha e-Learning in association with Ayurveda College, Coimbatore. In today's session, we'll be discussing about the Ayurvedic management of hair loss by Dr. Akshata B. Kichade. Before starting this session, I would like to go through a few of the basic instructions to be followed throughout this session. Any question can be raised in the chat box. Questions raised will be cleared at the end of the session. For the best stability, use a laptop and a high-speed internet connection. If your video is on, please make sure you are in front of a professional background. In case of any disruption, kindly check your internet connection firstly and wait patiently for the class to resume. Please make sure your microphone is on mute to have a disturbance-free session. Make sure you have your full name displayed so that it is professional. Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries, guests, and delegates on behalf of Diksha e-Learning and Ayurveda College, Coimbatore. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker today, Dr. Akshata B. Kichade, BAMS MD, Department of Rachana Sharira, SBS Ayurveda Medical College, Mundargi. She's completed her undergraduation in Sri B.M. Kankanwadi Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Belgavi, Karnataka, and post-graduation in SDM College of Ayurveda and Hospital, Hassan, Karnataka. Also, she has an academic excellence, is trained as a teaching assistant for UG BAMS, also has teaching experience of 1 year as assistant professor in SBS Ayurveda Medical College, Mundarki, Karnataka since December 2019. She has also won second prize for paper presentation in National Workshop on Difficult Areas of Dissection organized by JSS Mysore. Also, she's trained in conducting and doing whole body dissection, specimen preparation, practical training, museum development, embalming techniques, and special interest in formulating and preparation of Ayurveda medicines. Also, she has done a research work on comparative anatomical study on flexibility of Janu Sandhi in individuals who are performing and not performing Surya Namaskara with reference to Peshi Pariksha. Also, her publications include a genetic dominant disorder, polydactyly, in International Journal of Trend and Scientific Research and Development. Also, frequency of metopic suture in male and female skulls mounted as museum specimen. She's also done paper presentation in international seminars on importance of Ashtavida Ahara Visheshayatana in preventing dystolia. Also, a lot of paper presentation and national webinars on the topic critical analysis of Hridaya Marma Abhigata with special reference to myocardial infarction and role of Patya Apatya in irritable bowel syndrome and pain management in Ayurveda, and also have done special talks in Kankanwadi Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya and presented as speaker in Global Ayurveda Conference on the topic skincare during monsoon season. So she has also conducted various seminars, workshops, and CMEs. And her hobbies also include singing, reading, dancing, traveling, and she's well versed in mandala art form, conducting online mandala classes for charity. So we're very joyful and cheerful on your presence among us today, ma'am. Now, without any further ado, let's hand over the session to Dr. Akshata Bekichade. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much for the warm welcome and introduction about me. Uh, okay. So, without wasting much time, I would like to start with the topic proper. So, myself, Dr. Akshata. My topic of today's presentation is the Ayurveda management of hair loss. So why this topic? Why I have chosen this topic is because the concern nowadays due to hair loss, many premature hair loss conditions are coming up in our clinic, and so many movies related to this hair loss have come up. So this is why hair loss has become a biggest concern nowadays, and hair is considered to be a very good form of beauty, and many are concerned with this. So with this, I would like to start my topic proper. Once again. Okay, so let's go to the short introduction. Hair loss or alopecia, it refers to the loss of hair on the scalp. Okay, so when you can consider this as a hair loss, even me and all of you experience hair loss on daily basis. But when you say this as alopecia proper, so once there is 100 to 150 strands per day, losing your hair is normal. But if you start losing your hair more than 150 strands per day, then you can consider this as alopecia. And it becomes concerning as well, and you have to go for proper treatment. And what is the prevalence of this hair fall or alopecia? So it is almost 60.3% prevalence is there of hair fall, and it is more common in male than in female. So Ayurveda gives a proper reason for this. I would like to tell it now itself. So as it is modern, later we'll be going on to Ayurveda, but as this has popped up here, I would like to go why the males are experiencing more hair fall than female. Ayurveda gives the reasoning that females undergo the Shodhana procedure on every monthly basis in the form of menstrual cycle. So the prevalence of the hair loss is less common in females. Okay, so why Ayurveda becomes important in this treatment aspect? Why we have to take a step forward in going for treating this alopecia? Because modern systems and other systems, they have got many treatment procedure like hair transplants are there, many medications they give. But what happens there is cost effectiveness. The patients complain of what maintenance problem issues will be there, and lifelong maintenance they have to do. So this becomes the issue with many patients. So what we have to do is we have to take a proper step in going for Ayurvedic management. So this topic is important. Okay. So next we'll see how does our hair grow. So what happens in the hair growth. So usually in the scalp, there is a little pocket-like structures called follicles, and each follicle has got its own root, and it is made up of protein cells at the bottom from where our hair begins to grow. Then what happens? The blood vessels in our scalp, they supply essential nutrients to the roots, which helps it synthesize hair. And then the hair grows, and as it grows, it gets pushed up through the layers of the skin and it pokes out. Then oil glands, the lubrication is required, right? So the oil glands attached to the follicles provides this natural lubrication, softness, and shine to our hair. Okay, so this is just a basic, everybody will be knowing, but to know how the pathological condition of hair loss happens, you need to know this normal hair growth, how it happens. So I just brushed up the things. Next we'll go on to the hair follicle cycle. So the hair for each follicle, each strand has got its own cycle. So what happens in this cycle is there are four phases. The four phases, I'll name them: anagen, catagen, telogen, and exogen. Okay, in these four phases, the hair follicle grows. So what is anagen phase? Anagen phase is considered as an active hair growth phase. In this phase, what happens? The fresh hair follicle starts growing from the root. Then it lasts, usually the hair follicle remains in this anagen phase for about 2 to 6 years. Okay, so this is considered as anagen phase. There is one condition which happens in this phase, that is anagen effluvium. Due to various external factors like various chemotherapy drugs or other nidanas which we consume like ahara, etc., the hair starts shedding before this period, 2 to 6 years only. So this anagen phase is shortened and the hair starts shedding off in the anagen phase itself. But what happens is once these external factors are taken back, again the fresh hair start growing. Okay, so this is about the anagen phase. Next, the hair enters into the catagen phase. So this is termed as transitional hair growth phase. Means what? The hair usually detaches. Here I have shown the hair detaches itself from the root, but it doesn't fall off. The oxygen there is no blood supply, but still it doesn't fall off from the scalp. Okay, so that is termed as catagen phase. So it lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks. So the hair stays in this phase for 2 to 3 weeks. Next, coming to the telogen phase or resting phase. So what happens here is the fresh hair root or the fresh hair bud, hair follicle starts growing from the root, and it starts pushing the older hair towards upwards. Okay, so here what happens is the fresh hair bud develops in telogen phase. So usually it lasts for about 2 to 3 months. So what happens in this telogen phase is usually the condition called telogen effluvium is affected here. Means it comes into existence here. So telogen effluvium, what does that mean? Because of the various oral contraceptive pills, because of the pregnancy, all these conditions, what happen is the hair usually starts shedding at this phase. Directly the telogen phase is entered, from anagen, the telogen phase is entered. So what happens is the hair starts shedding very soon. So because what happens is once that external factors are taken back, again the hair starts growing normally. But within 6 months, the hair should start growing. But even after the 6 months, if it doesn't grow, then you can consider this as chronic telogen effluvium. Fine. So this is one condition here. Okay. After this, there is a shedding phase or exogen phase. So in this phase, what happens is the hair, which is bud, which is forming, it pushes the old hair follicles outside and it sheds off, and the fresh anagen phase begins. Okay, so this is about the hair growth cycle. So here I would like to highlight one thing. Usually, 85% of the hair, our hair, will be in anagen phase, and 15% will be in the telogen phase. In many of the hair loss conditions, what happens is many people complain of means the hair follicle enters this 85% and 15% ratio is altered here. So the hair fall occurs. Okay, so this is about the hair growth cycle. So next we move on to the types. What are the types of alopecia or hair loss? So mainly there are, I have mentioned some of the types here. The first one being androgenic alopecia, or in that there is male pattern baldness and female pattern baldness. And next one is involutional alopecia, and the third is alopecia areata, fourth is alopecia totalis, alopecia universalis, next is telogen effluvia, next is scarring and non-scarring alopecia. So these are the types of alopecia. We'll see one by one what is the these types, means what happens in these types. So this androgenic alopecia is actually hereditary. Okay, in this there is male pattern baldness and female pattern baldness. They are differentiated because in male pattern baldness there is separate pattern how the baldness occurs, but in the other case in female pattern baldness the baldness pattern is different. So they have differentiated this male and female pattern baldness. And in male, I like to explain this. In male pattern baldness usually starts after the puberty and it continues later by. So here what happens is the hair starts shedding above the temples and it continues whole of the crown, sparing the circumference, little bit of circumference below. And later all the hair present in the scalp will be shed off. So this is about male pattern hair loss. The hair loss is in the top and the crown. Okay. And in the female pattern hair loss, the hairline starts widening and the hair loss spreads to the whole of the crown, but frontal hairline is spared. Frontal hairline is not affected. Means it is the hair doesn't shed off at the frontal hair, frontal side. Okay, so this is the pattern of the female baldness. So next, coming to the involutional alopecia. What is this? As the name indicates, involutional, it means that age-related hair loss. So it is a natural process. In this condition, what happens is the anagen phase is shortened and telogen phase is it is increased. So more of the hairs which are present in the telogen phase, they starts shedding off. But anagen phase, the growing hair are very less, and gradually they start thinning and they become shortened, and later they stops growing. Okay, so gradually the whole of the scalp hairs are lost. So this is involutional alopecia. So next we will move on for alopecia areata. So this is what is referred to as, this is compared to as Indralupta in Ayurveda. So here what happens, this is autoimmune condition in which the certain hair in a certain area of a scalp are shed off suddenly. So in the certain area of the scalp, the telogen hair, suddenly they become shed, they shed off. So that is considered as alopecia areata. The name, as the name indicates, areata, the area of the scalp is the hairs shed in that place. So this can become dispersed, means many areas can get affected here. And if the whole hair, scalp hairs get means they are lost, it is called as alopecia totalis. And also there is one more condition called alopecia universalis, where all the body hairs are lost, is due to because of the autoimmune condition itself. Okay, so these are the some of the types. Now coming to the telogen effluvium, as I have explained while explaining the hair follicle cycle. So this is the same thing, the telogen effluvium. Due to external factors, what happens, many like I said, oral contraceptives, etc. So many hairs enter into the telogen phase. The telogen cycle becomes more, and the energy cycle is less, means it is reduced. So what happens, the hair starts lose, means the hair from all your scalp starts shedding off. But it doesn't mean that you go completely bald. You can expect up to 300 to 500 strands losing per day. So that you can consider it as telogen effluvium. So once the disease has started, after 3 months, this condition is exaggerated. That is, the hair starts falling. But once it crosses 6 months, what happens is it should stop. Then the fresh hair starts growing. So that you can consider as acute telogen effluvium. But in some conditions, what happens in the women aged 30 to 60 years, this becomes chronic telogen effluvium. Even after the 6 months, the fresh hair doesn't starts coming. Okay, so that you can consider it as chronic telogen effluvium. Next, we'll go on to the scarring or cicatricial alopecia. What does this mean? The scarring itself indicates that there is an inflammation in the scalp, and later what it does, it leaves the scar in certain area of the scalp, and that actually blocks the hair from growing. Okay, so your main condition, main cause of alopecia is scar being present. Okay, next is non-scarring alopecia. Here the inflammation and scar is usually less in the scalp, but the hair fall is more significant. So this is about types of alopecia. I hope it's clear. Next, we'll move on to the causes. And one more thing I forgot to tell here is telogen effluvium. This condition you can consider as Kalitya, which is mentioned in Ayurveda. This is usually compared to the Kalitya in Ayurveda. So what are the causes of hair loss or alopecia? So usually there are temporary and permanent hair loss causes. I like to just go on here. Hormones, you can consider hormones. The main hormone I would like to highlight here is dihydrotestosterone. It is actually an androgen, and it is mainly leading to the male pattern hair loss. So what happens here is dihydrotestosterone usually helps in male characteristics, in development of the male characteristics like development of beard, mustache, pubic hairs, etc. But it is very, you can say it is an enemy to the scalp hair. Means it shortens the hair present in the scalp, and it causes the baldness in the hair. So that is one of the male pattern hair loss hormone. And other hormones, like in case of oral contraceptive pills, the hormones vary from day to day. So that also causes the hair loss. And other causes like stress, illness, childbirth, the burns, injury, X-ray. all these are the temporary hair loss. This causes the temporary hair loss. Next, hereditary conditions, also the heredity from parents if they are having, that also can cause the hair loss. And autoimmune diseases like vitiligo, diabetes, and pernicious anemia, all such conditions causes the hair loss. And ringworm infection, dandruff is the main cause for hair loss. And cosmetic procedures, nowadays the coloring of the hair, straightening, smoothing procedures, so all this causes the hair loss. And certain medications you can consider, medications such as antihypertensive drugs like beta blocker, ACE inhibitors, then anticonvulsant oral contraceptive pills, and hormone replacement therapies, and then antidepressants. So all this will cause the hair loss. And improper and unhealthy dietary habits, not including the proper vegetables and minerals, vitamins in your diets, this also causes the hair loss. And age related hair loss, this is the normal natural condition. So these are some of the causes of alopecia. Next we'll go on for the signs and symptoms of the hair loss. So what is the first sign of hair loss? The patient, when he comes to your clinic, he usually complains of the hair thinning. So they notice the hair usually on their hairbrush, more hair than usual. Okay, that you have to consider in the hairbrush after brushing or in the basin after shampooing. So this is the main sign the patient complains of. And then there is a gradual thinning in the scalp. Then the circular patchy bald spots are seen. Then dandruff, skin lesions, patches of scaling that spread over the scalp, and sudden loosening of the hair. And early graying of hair is also the main complaint which is told by the patient. With that, they say that the hair fall is occurring. And the receding hairline in the women. In women, usually the symptom is the hairline is receding. So that is the main complaint. Okay, so these are the signs and symptoms of hair loss. Next, we will go on for the examination, how you can examine modern examinations, how examination can be done. So there are pull test or traction test, plug test or trichogram, the scalp biopsy can be done, or the daily hair counts. And next one is the inspection you can do. See for the dandruff or any marks or inflammation in the scalp. So first thing I have just put a small video here. You can see for it. For the pull test, what I have to do is okay. So I think pull test is okay. So if the hair pull test is positive in one area, then you can consider that as a alopecia areata. If it is more, means it is positive in more than 2 to 3 areas, then you can consider that it as telogen or anagen effluvium. Okay, so this is the pull test. Next, we'll go on to the plug test or trichogram. So trichogram is having the rubbered end With that, you just select up to 80 to or 60 to 80 hairs and give a traction or forceful pull and in the hair and pull them out. And then the hair are examined under the microscope to see how the telogen anagen ratio. But usually what happens in this test is many hairs are broken or they are means the hair is not completely taken off. So this test usually becomes less significant. So they go for the scalp biopsy. In this biopsy, the biopsy is taken of 4 mm width and length, and then it is examined under the microscope at the three levels, at the upper level and the middle level and the deeper level, and then it is there also the anagen and telogen ratio is examined. So this is scalp biopsy. Next, we'll ask the patient to see for the daily hair counts. The patient himself can examine it. Just ask him to collect the hair, whichever he has brushed, in his hairbrush, in the sink, in the basin. So wherever the hair has to be collected, and he has to put it in the separate plastic bags and collect them for up to 7 days. Ask him to take extra care while he is shampooing his hair. So that is when the hair fall is very significant. Okay, so if the hair count is more than 150 per day, then you can consider that as alopecia. Then inspection, you can see for the dandruff. If there is a dandruff, then or any what inflammation, etc., then the hair fall is happening. So this is about some of the examination. Next, we go for the investigations. What you can ask the patient to go for. First, you can ask him to take the CBC, blood smear. You can take the vitamin B12, D3, serum calcium levels, and then bone mineral density can be done. In female patient, you can ask for serum iron, ferritin, total iron binding capacity can be done. Also, the thyroid profile becomes very important here for the premature falling and graying of hair as well. And then LFT can be done, as the main dhatus involved here is Rasarakta. So LFT is done to know the metabolic conditions of the body. And then the USG abdomen can be done to evaluate for PCOS conditions, so that all these investigations become very important. So next we go on for the modern treatment, what all treatment procedures they adopt. So first thing, surgical treatment, what they adopt is hair transplantation, the scalp reduction. There is one more thing called as platelet-rich plasma. So this is actually very painful condition. They take the platelet and then they insert in the scalp, in the syringe, they insert this platelet-rich plasma. So that becomes very painful, and also it has got a lot of side effects. And then there is a scalp expansion and scalp flaps. So these are surgical treatments. Next is medications, what they give, medications and nutritional requirements. Medications like hormonal therapy like spironolactone, cyproterone acetate. Okay, and then nutritional requirements like fats, proteins, minerals such as calcium, iron. All these are given, and vitamins like B6, B12, C, and D are prescribed. So these are some of the modern concept of alopecia. Next, we'll go on for the Ayurvedic concept. What is Kalitya? What Ayurvedic classics have mentioned. So Kalitya Bruhatrayis says that Sushrutacharya and Ashtanga Rudaya, they mentions this Kalitya occurs because of
Ma'am, Dr. Akshata, ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am. Ma'am, your mic is on mute, it seems, ma'am. So you can unmute yourself now.
Okay, sorry, it was by mistake. My voice is clear?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's clear.
Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So we'll continue. We'll be dealing with the Khalidya Ayurvedic perspective. So Acharya's Brihatrayas they says that the Khalidya is due to the all the four doshas, the Pitta and Vata. They cause the loosening of the hair strands, and the Shleshma and Shonita they cause the falling, or they cause the obstruction of the Roma Cooper. So this will lead to the Indralupta, Khalidya or Rucha. So these are the uh, all these three are mentioned same by all the Brihatrayas. Okay, so Indralupta, you can consider that as the following. The Kartika is one of Kartikacharya. He says that Kalitya is hair fall that occurs in the scalp, and Indralupta is the falling of hair from the beard and mustache, and Rucha is falling of hair elsewhere in the body, in the whole body. So there, with this explanation, you can consider that Kalitya, that is telogen effluvium, and Indralupta, you can consider it as a so alopecia areata, and Ruchati is universalis, alopecia universalis. So this, based on this explanation, you can just correlate. And Ashtanga Sangraha is also with the same opinion. He says that with the Pitta and Vata, when they combine together at the start, they cause the Murchana of the Roma Kupa. And then the obstruction of the Roma Kupa is caused by the Shleshma and Shonita. Next is Charaka. Charaka also says the same thing. He is of the opinion that the body's Ushma or Teja, what it causes is the Dagda, means the Kesha Bhumi becomes burnt. And due to that, the Khalitya occurs. So this is the explanation of Charakacharya. Next, Yoga Ratnakara, Madhava Nidanakara, and Sushrutta in Nidanasthana, they consider this Khalitya under the Shudra Roga. And Charakacharya, he says he considers this under the Shiro Roga. Ashtanga Sangraha mentions it under Kapalagata Roga. And as I said, Khalitya, Indralupta, and Ru here, they considered the similar, but Kartika Acharya has differentiated them. And dosha, as I mentioned before, all the four doshas are involved. Like pitta is the predominant dosha is pitta, and along with that, vata, kapha, and rakta are involved. And it is asti pradoshaja vikara, according to Yogendra Nath Sen. He has commented over the Charaka Samhita. So this is about the introduction of Kalitya. Next, we'll move on for the causes of Kalitya. What are the causes? So Nidanas of Kalitya include the Viruddha Ahara Vihara. So what does this Viruddha Ahara Vihara means? So mainly Viruddha you have to consider here as the Lavana Ahara, taking it along with the milk. So many people will be having that craze of having more Lavana Pradana Ahara. So that with that, if they consume milk, that becomes Viruddha Ahara, and that causes the Kalitya. And also taking the chicken with the curd and milk with the fish. So all these milkshakes, various milkshakes will also act as a Viruddha Ahara. Okay. And next is Pitta Vardaka Ahara Vihara. What does that mean? So mainly Kshara Lavana Ahara. So Katu, Amla, all this causes the Pitta Vardana. For example, in the modern, you can consider as a Chinese foods. So all these are predominant in Lavana and Kshara. So that causes the Pitta Vritti. And Vihara is the excessive exposure to the sunlight, especially the afternoon sunlight, which is causing the Pitta Vritti. And also in Ratri Jagarana and Vivaswapna, all this also are the dosha vardaka. And next is Hina, Mithya, and Atiyoga of Trayopastamba. So this also causes the Kalitya. And not following the Dinacharya, Ritucharya, and Sadvrita. By Ritucharya, I mean that Ritushodhana. By not following the proper Ritushodhana methods and Dinacharya methods will cause the Kalitya. And consumption of Dushi Visha. So what is this Dushi Visha? here the main thing is accumulation of toxins in our body. With the if we prescribe certain medications like Rasaushadis, it has got certain washout period, right? So if we doesn't include that washout period, if we doesn't give that washout period, what will happen is the toxins or the medicines itself will act as a visha. It starts accumulating in our body. And others like Adyashana, Ajirnashana, Viruddhashana. So all this will also become visha in our body. So this can be considered as Dushi visha. And next, Ativyayama, Ativyavaya, all these are also causes of Khalitya. And Vegadharana. Vegadharana actually acts as Dushi visha also. So Vegadharana, what happens is the toxins, in return, it starts accumulating in our body. So this is the causes of Khalitya. So next is history taking, which becomes very important when the person comes with the hair loss, complaining the hair loss. So I have divided it into various sections so that it becomes easy for us to take the history. You can take the ahara based on ahara, vihara, manasika, kautumbika, vyadi, and others. So I have divided it like this. Now coming to the ahara, while taking the history, you have to ask him about the kshara consumption. So how will ask this? So you can just ask him about consumption of any Chinese food or junk items. So is he having very much like attraction towards those food? So that can be asked. And excessive salt consumption. So that is the main point you have to ask in the history taking. And next you have to ask that ahara with the milk, lavana ahara, whether he is consuming with the milk or no. And then quality of water which he is drinking. So whether it is hard water, whether it is a filter water, whether it is a well water. So all these things you have to differentiate. And then ask him for the history of Madhyapana and Dhumapana. So all this also can cause the Pitta Vritti. So that becomes important while you are taking history. And next, while going for Vihara, you have to ask him about the head massage. So oil massage in a week, how many times he does, or whether he does or not. So that also has to be asked. And then head bath, frequency of head bath in a week. You have to ask how many times he has head bath. Many patients, they come and they say that they have head bath in the daily basis, and that too with the hot water, and that too using the soap to their head. So that causes a lot of hair loss. So that becomes important here. And then water using for the head bath, whether it is a hard water, so that needs to be asked for. And living in the polluted environment. So how you approach this? You just ask him whether he is living nearby some construction areas or nearby some roads, near the roads. So that can be asked. And exposure to sunlight. Usually the civil engineers, they will be having this nidana particularly. So they go in the long estimation processes. So they will be exposing more to the sunlight, especially the afternoon sunlight. And then Ratri Jagarana and Divaswapna. So this applies very good for the software engineers, where they will be having the night shifts, okay? And then they won't be having proper sleep, and they do the Divaswapna. So in turn, dosha vriddhi will be occurring. So this is about the vihara. And then go for asking the manasika. So manasika is chinta, bhaya, shoka. You can ask for like whether any recent means any recent events in which he has gone into this chinta, bhaya and shoka. So this can be approached with. And then Kautumbika genetic can ask whether his parents were having the hair loss, the premature hair loss can be asked for. And then Vyadi, like fungal infections, can be looked into. The thyroid, you can ask for sudden weight gain, PCOD also, sudden weight gain, hirsutism. So all this can be seen. And then Darunaka, go for the dandruff. And also others like postpartum period after the just delivered women usually experiences the hair loss. And then recent infections and diseases, just asking for whether he had a recent any fevers or very gone for any chemotherapy, radiation therapy. So all that you have to evaluate properly. So this becomes history taking part. And after this you have to go for pariksha. So what all parikshas you can do? So first thing you can do is Prakriti assessment. in that, why it is important? Because the Pittaja Prakriti person, you have to segregate. You have to make him separate. For that, you have to do the proper Prakriti assessment. Because the Pittaja Prakriti usually having the means it is prone for the more hair fall. So in that condition, you have to be extra careful while you are giving the treatment. You have to not go for Ushna Tikshna modalities. So in that condition, Prakriti assessment becomes very important. And then go for Rasa and Asti Vriddhi Kshaya Lakshanas. So you can ask for Rasa Kshaya. Main thing you can ask is Shabda Asahishnuta. So you ask for whether he is unable to bear very loud sounds very recently, if this is happening, or if he is having very much glani or tiredness without doing any work, or if he is having agni mandyata, or he is not able to digest his food, he is feeling heaviness in the abdomen. So all these are Rasa Vriddhi Kshaya Lakshanas. And Asti, you can go for like asking any pain in the Asti, like in the bones, in the bone region, or if there is any loosening of the joints, whether while walking, if he feels that his joints are loosened type. So the patient himself tells that. So all these parikshas has to be done. And then Dashavida Pariksha, in this the main is go for Agni Bala, okay, Ahara Shakti and Vyayama Shakti. So Vaya and Vaya. So that parikshas are important in Dashavida Pariksha. So this is about Pariksha. And then we'll go on for the dosha involvement. So as I said before, the pitta which is involved here is the Brajaka pitta and also the vitiated vata. It causes what? Weakening of the hair from the hair roots. And then vitiated kapha and rakta, in turn what they do is they causes the obstruction in the hair root which prevent further growth of the hair. Okay, so this is the main doshas which are involved in this Khalitya. Next, we'll go on for the Samprapti Ghataka. So what are the Samprapti Ghatakas here? Dosha, mainly the Pitta is the Pachaka and Brajaka Pitta, and Vata is Samana and Vyana. Kapha is Tarpaka Kapha. So because of this only the Tarpaka Kapha is means it is Dushana happening to the Tarpaka Kapha only. There is no nourishment, proper nourishment to the scalp. So what happens? There is excess rukshata and then the hair starts falling. So that is the main dosha involvement here. And then dosha are Rasarakta and Asti. And Mala is Sweda and Kesha. Srotas involved are Rasavaha, Raktavaha and Astivaha Shrotas. And what is the Shrota Dushti here is Sangha. So there is obstruction of all the shrotas. So the main thing you have to do in the treatment is removing this obstruction. So by adopting proper Shodhana procedures, first Shodhana has to be adopted, and Sarve Roga Agni Mandya. So the Charakachara, main thing here is Sarve Roga Agni Mandya. Correct the Agni first. And then if you do the Shodhana procedure, the Agni itself will be corrected. Then Roga Marga is Bahya, Udbhavasana is Amasya, and Adhisthana is Kesha Bhumi. So these are the Samprapti Ghatakas. So lastly, we'll move on for the management. So how you can go for managing this Khalitya. So this is I have divided into two, that is treatment principles and treatment modalities. The main treatment principles you can adopt here is Nidana Parivarjana, then Kesha Sthapana Aushadis, Asti Pushtikara Aushadis, and Rasarakta Prasadana, and then Rasayana and Keshabalya. So all these are the treatment principles which you adopt. And what are the treatment modalities? So it is Virechana, Nasya, Raktamokshana, Shiro Abhyanga, Shiro Lepa, and Shiro Basti, and Shirodhara. So main thing in the hair loss conditions, the chinta or stress conditions will be more. So for that condition, Shirodhara becomes very important here. Okay. And next we'll go on for the Kesha Sthapana Aushadis. I have included some single drug here. They are Ballataka, Gunja Bija. Take proper care here not to use Ballataka and Gunja Bija in the Pitta Prakriti person. Okay, so many conditions when we have used this Ballataka and Gunja Bija in the Indrolupta conditions, what happened was they complained of the rashes, the redness in the scalp and rashes and itching sensations. So because of that, avoid using Ballataka and Gunja Bija in Pitta Prakriti person. Instead of that, go for Avidugdha, Yashti Madhu. Bhingaraja, Japa Pushpa, Narikela and Nilini can also be used. So all these are the Kashaya Tikta Pradhana Dravyas, which are very good for Khalitya. So this is about Kesha Sthapana Aushadhi. Next is Asti Pushtikara Aushadhi. In that you can go for many preparation I have mentioned here. That is Kukutanda Twak Basma, Pravada Basma. Okay, so all this you can use. Next, we go on for the Rasa Rakta Prasadana. So, what you will do here? Since the Rasa and Rakta are vitiated here, the main treatment principles which Acharyas have told for Rasa Pradoshaja Vyadi is go for the Upavasa Chikitsa. Okay, so that can be adopted. And in Rakta, you can go for Virechana, Rakta Mokshana principles you can adopt. The treatment modalities can be adopted. Later we'll see that. And then in Rasayana and Keshabalya, it becomes important when there is a hereditary factor involved and autoimmune conditions involved. So you can go for Rasayana and Keshabalya therapies. Okay. So with this, we move on for some yogas here. So which all churnas can be used? The Trifala churna, Utpala churna, Yashti, Amalaki, Laksha churna. They just mix all this and make a churna out of it. And then Yashti Trifala churna is also best. And lehas, some of the lehas I have mentioned here are Amalaki Rasayana, Chavanprasha Leha, Ashwagandhadi Leha, Narasimha Rasayana. See this Narasimha Rasayana, I would like to highlight this here. It is very important in hereditary alopecia, like male pattern and female pattern hair loss. Narasimha Rasayana as acting is having the very good results. Okay, and then taila preparations, which all taila you can use. So these tailas which I have mentioned are used for the nasya. Okay, so which are those? Bringa Amalakadi taila, Anu taila, Bringa Raja taila, Chandana Bala, Lakshadi taila, Malatyadi taila, Narasimha taila, Neeli Bringyadi taila, Nimbadi taila, Prapaundrikadi taila, Shadbindu taila, Trifaladi taila, and Yashti Maduka taila. So mainly here we have used Shadbindu taila and Nimbadi taila, Yashti Maduka taila, Bringaraja taila, Anu taila. So these tailas have proved very best in case of Khalitya as a Nasya form. Okay, and then some grutas, which all grutas can be given. So these grutas can be also adopted as a Rasarakta in cases of principles Rasarakta Prasadaja, like the Rasarakta Prasadaja. So like Ashwagandhadi Gruta, Jivaniya Gana Gruta, Mahatiktaka Gruta, and Panchatiktaka Gruta. So all these grutas can be used. Then bhasmas like Kanta Bhasma, Kukutanda Twak Bhasma, Loha Bhasma, Pravada Bhasma. So these bhasmas can be used in cases of Asti Kshaya leading to alopecia. All these Kukutanda Twak Bhasma, Pravada Bhasma have been very good formulations which can be used. And next coming to the Rasa and Rasayana preparations. So main is the Mahalakshmi Vilasa Rasa Saptamrita Loha. So this can be used as like for Rakta Pushtikara also. And Saptamrita, all this Loha preparation. Krishna Taila Rasayana, Agatsya Haritaki, Kanakarishta, Vipanchamula Grita, Amalaki Rasayana, Navayasa Loha, Mandura Vasma. Okay, all these are the Rasayana preparations. And lay preparations which are used for applications in the scalp are Maduka, Amalaka and honey. You can mix them. And Tila, Amalaka, honey and oil. You can mix and prepare a lepa. And Bringa Pushpadi lepa. Okay, so this is also very beneficial. And next is Mandura Bhasma, Amalaki Churna, Japa Pushpa. Is made into paste and applied into scalp. And then you have to wash it with the Trifala Kwata. So these are some of the lepa preparations. And some of the success stories I have added here. So what main thing Shodhana procedures adopted here is the Basti. So Panchatikta Grita Kshira Basti is given for almost 7 days, and then with oral administration of Kukutanda Twak Basma, that is 500 mg BD. So this is given in the condition of initial stages where the hair loosening starts, where the Vata and Pitta involvement is seen. So in that condition, you can go for Panchatikta Grita Kshira Basti. And also Kukutanda Twak Basma you can give in case of Asti Kshaya Janya Khalitya. And then Prachana can be done, followed by the application of paste prepared out of Triphala, Balam, Yashti Madhu, Jetamamsi, Amalakki, hibiscus leaf, Methika, Mehendi leaf, and onion juice. So this is the preparation I have personally seen while I was doing the PG. So it has got a very good benefits. So this can be done for almost 4 to 5 sittings. For 2 months, you can go for 4 to 5 sittings of Prachana, followed by application of this paste. And then also Prachana you can do followed by the lap of Bringaraja Churna. So this is also very beneficial. Just make a paste of Bringaraja Churna 30 grams and water, and then apply it on the scalp for 1 hour and then wash it. Fine. And then Jaloka Charna can be done, especially for the androgenic alopecia. In that cases, what you can do is go for the Jaloka Charna followed by the oral medications, that is Saptamrita Loha, 500 mg BD after food, and then Asti Poshaka Vati 500 mg BD. So this can be done for, as I said, 4 to 5 sittings in 2 months. So this is very beneficial. And next is Nasya. Nasya with the Bringaraja Taila or Shadbindu Taila, Nimbadi Taila. You can go for 8 drops in each nostril for 7 days. So this is in cases of Rakta and Kapha involvements when the nourishment is required. When the Kapha and Rakta are vitiated and the hair doesn't start growing back, that time you can go for Nasya with this Tailas. And then there is a Rasayana preparations, Swadanshradhi Rasayana and Madhukadi Taila Nasya. For 2 months, you can administer. And also Shiro Abhyanga is told with Eshti Madhukadi Taila with Pratimarsha Nasya with the same Taila you can do. And for the dandruff associated with hair fall, you can go for Dadru Patradi Kera Taila for Shiro Abhyanga and tablet Tricup, tablet Lakshadi Gugulu and Anutaila Nasya. Daily for 15 days you have to do, and that has got a very good results with dandruff induced hair fall. And also for Indrurupta, you can go for Ichabedi Rasa with the lemon. You have to just rub it in the region of the hair fall. So just take care that Pitta Prakriti person, take care of the Pitta Prakriti person. In such conditions, don't go for this Ichabedi Rasa. And then Prachana followed by Trivrit Garshana for 4 to 5 sitting, and then Neeli Bringyadi Taila application can be done. And as I said, Virechana. Virechana can be performed before with Abhayadi Modaka 12 grams. The classical Virechana can be planned, and then go for some medications which are rich in calcium. So this has also proved the very good benefits. So some of the alternative methods I want to highlight here. So as we are doing Prachana, so there is one Chinese technique called cupping. So this you can adopt. Alternative methods and added methods you can take this. So this you can adopt in doing the Prachana, Rakta Mokshana procedures. But one thing you have to take care of here is the practice. Once you know how to do cupping and how to place the cupping and you are trained in that, then you can go for it. Before, just go for a normal cupping. Later, you can go for the Rakta Mokshana with the cupping. So this is one of the things you can use in case of Prachana. And then steam. After the Abhyanga, giving steam becomes very important. So all these modern techniques are to be adopted. And also nowadays, the vitamin E capsules, I'm taking this from the modern, even the Taila, I will tell you which Taila I prepare. In that, we add the vitamin E capsule, 2 capsules, and then we ask the patient to apply it. So this has proved the very nice and very good benefits. So one more thing I want to add up here is the Taila preparations which can be done is just go for Taila Paka with curry leaves, okay, and then the Japa Pushpa. Also take some of the leaves of Japa and then just boil it. Also add methi seeds, and it would be great if you add aloe vera. 1 strand is also good. So all this you just put it in the oil and coconut oil and boil it, and after that sieve it and use it for the Abhyanga, Shiro Abhyanga. And while you are applying it to the hair, you can go for adding the vitamin E capsule as well. Okay, so this is about the thing. And then I would like to highlight some of the causes of health and disease here mentioned in Ashtanga Hridaya. So proper use means proper, less, more or wrong unison of time, sense and function is the reason for disease. And right unison of Kala, Artha and Karma causes the health. So Ashtanga Hridaya says that Kalartha Karmanam Yogo Hina Mitya Atimatrakaha Samyak Yogascha Vidneyo Roga Arogya Karanam. So with this shloka, I would like to conclude my topic for today. So these are my references, and thank you. Any questions are welcome.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was really great listening to you. And for the participants who had attended this session, please be sure to post your questions into the chat box in your control panel. It will be answered now. Ma'am, shall we move on to the question answer session, ma'am?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay, ma'am. The first question is, how can we improve graying of hair? Is there any lepa which can impart black color?
See, as in case of gray hair, first you have to do is thyroid profile. First go for the thyroid profile. In cases of hypothyroidism, usually the graying of hair and falling of hair is very common. So main thing what you can do is go for the Rasayana Chikitsa, go for the Narasimha Rasayana or Chavanprasha Rasayana. So with this you can go for Nasya therapy as well. So premature graying, this is the main therapy main treatment procedure you can adopt. So it will work. It is having a good results.
Okay, ma'am. Dr. Surya Narayana Patnaik, you can ask your question now, sir.
Doctor, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, can we go for cupping instead of cupping? Jaluka Ucharana is advisable.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. I have explained Jaloka Charana before, but instead of that, even cupping can be adopted. I said you can go for Jaloka Charana, sir. No problem.
And one more doubt, doctor, is Bhringaraj Asava is available in the market of many companies. Can it be used for these particular hair fall cases?
So Bhringaraja Asava, instead of that, Asavas actually causes the Pitta Vritti. It's better you use Bhringaraja Taila instead of Bhringaraja Taila in the form of Nasya instead of this Asavas, sir.
Acha. Instead of vitamin E oil, can we have any other product giving by the oral route?
So vitamin E, you can go in Ayurveda. You are asking, sir?
Yeah.
So Ayurveda have said many loha preparations are there. Many basma, kukutandatwak basma, vitamins preparations are many here. So you can go for that also. But what I said is for external application. For head massage, while you are head massaging, in the oil you can add this vitamin E as well. It will prove good result, I say.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. We'll move on to the next question. Can you please
Yes.
elaborate the procedure of Prachanna, ma'am?
Okay. So Prachanna, as see, I have not practiced it personally, but I have seen it my teachers doing it in the OPD. So what they used to do is they used to take a needle. The syringe needle is also okay. So what you have to do is the small pricks in that area of the hair loss, especially in the Indralukta, it has proved a very nice. It has given a best result. So with the syringe, just go for a minor pricks, a small pricks in the whole area. So then you can rub that area with the cotton swab and go for lepa, application of lepa directly.
Oh. Okay, ma'am. What's the management of Palitya, ma'am?
Okay, Palitya. Premature graying, if you have taken, then just Rasayana therapies can be followed. And then Nasya with Nimbadi Taila is very good, and Bhringaraja Taila. And also I would like to add is the, Bhringaraja. take a Bringaraja whole plant and make a Swarasa of it, and you can use that Swarasa in the form of Pratimarshanasya on the daily basis. So that can also prevent the premature graying. And also if there is a graying, it prevents further graying of hair.
Okay, ma'am. What to do for chronic dandruff, ma'am?
Okay, so main thing in the dandruff, you have to ask the patient for the shampoo which he is using, and also ask for the frequency of head, means how many times he is washing his hair, and also ask how many times he is doing head massage. So all this, if he is doing properly, and still if there is a darunuka or chronic dandruff, as I said, one thing here is you can go for Dadru Patradi Keral Taila application, and then tablet tricup you can give, and Lakshadi Gugulu. With along with that, go for Anutaila Nasya. So this will help in chronic dandruff.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, what's the Ayurvedic hair coloring for black?
Hair coloring as such, okay. Basically, I've not used that, and I have mehendi preparations we can use, but that doesn't give a black color, impart a black color to the hair. But yeah, using the curry leaf preparation, prepare a paste of it, and then japa pushpa, all this paste can be prepared, but sudden black color acquiring that is difficult. So you apply this lepa, and then after few years you can acquire the your hair color.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, this hair growth, you told the prachanna things and all. Is it possible in bald headed, ma'am, in males?
Okay. So one thing I would like to tell here is we have seen alopecia totalis, you are asking. So in such conditions, what happens is many male patients will be having the more sebaceous secretions in their head. So even if we do the prachana in that, the success rate is very less. So just go for a prachana for almost like 4 to 5 sittings, and then the hair growth starts slowly. So just go for 4 to 5 prachanas, then leave a gap, give him a medication, internal medication, and then again you can continue that prachana after few days. So like that, it takes almost 6 months to 7 months. So the patient usually don't have so much of patience. Okay. So this takes
Okay.
more of patience. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, what's your experience in autoimmune disorder related alopecia?
So in such conditions, actually autoimmune alopecia areata, so that can be considered as Indralupta itself. So leech therapy has proved a very good beneficial results in that. Application of leech for 4 to 5 sittings is good. And along with that, you can go for Narasimha Rasayana, which I mentioned before.
Okay. Ma'am, can you tell about Indralupta Ichhabedi or other lepas?
Sorry, come again.
Ma'am, Indralupta Ichhabedi, there is can you elaborate what is that, ma'am?
Okay, Ichabedi Rasa with lemon. Okay, what you have to do is just take a half cut lemon, and then put a apply the Ichabedi Rasa over that, and then rub it in the areas of Indralupta. Wherever there is bald space, just go on rubbing it. And see to it that once you rub for 4 to 5 times, later you see for any allergic conditions, if there is redness or something. And then if it is not present for after 10 minutes or half an hour, then again you can continue it rubbing it for almost like 4 to 5 times. So this has also got certain time, like 4 to 5 times you have to continue. You have to do it in a 2 months. So sittings you can do.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, what is the treatment for Kalitya and Down syndrome patients, which is seen commonly?
Okay. So Down syndrome in that condition, okay. So for Kalitya and Down syndrome, no, I actually don't have any idea in that. But Yeah, what you can do is just manage him by the internal medications. You can go and you can give him the nasya treatments can be given, and some yoga procedures. Some yoga can be given, and the even the stream you can go for. One second. Yeah, Shirobhasti, Shirolepa can be done. But I would like to suggest that the benefits like success rate is very less in such conditions.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, what's the treatment of postnatal hair fall?
Postnatal.
Yep.
So usually in cases of postnatal, soon after the postnatal period, for it will take up to 6 months. The hair loss will be there, but after that it starts growing by itself. But in such cases, you can ask them to go for proper postnatal management, like for Abhyanga, Svedana, etc., which they do. You can ask them to take that properly, and a proper diet maintenance becomes very important in that condition in the postnatal period. So as if they follow that, then no problem. After 6 months the natural hair growth starts.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, some patients do complain while using thick oil like castor oil. They have this increase in temperature in the scalp and dandruff. In that condition, what can be done, ma'am?
So castor oil, okay. So in that condition, just using single castor oil, it's better you add little bit of coconut oil in that, and olive oil. So that will prove benefits. That will decrease that symptoms like ushnata, etc.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
also plain castor oil, it's better to avoid. Many before they used to advise castor oil application was very beneficial, but nowadays what happens, due to improper purification methods, it has become very difficult to use it. So it's better you mix it with coconut oil and use it.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please tell about the role of derma roller
Come again.
or how to do it? Derma roller, ma'am.
Derma roller. Okay. So derma roller, it actually helps in increasing the blood supply to the scalp. So just I think can one second. So just you can use it in the form of massaging to the head, like you do it in the other areas. Uh, you have to use it in the scalp, roll it over your scalp, so that it helps in proper circulation of blood to the scalp and helps in hair growth, promoting the hair growth.
Okay, ma'am.
It's like
Ma'am,
a massage.
Oh, okay. Ma'am, in children, in small children, we can see hair fall and graying, especially in like in their early ages. In that cases, ma'am, the same chikitsa.
In the small children, the chikitsa usually becomes different here. Usually due to the certain genetic conditions, certain autoimmune conditions, the hair fall starts in that early groups. So what you can do is just a proper maintenance of diet and proper giving him the proper nutritious food is enough at that age. And as the age progresses, yeah, it will resolve back. The hair growth will resolve back.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, the LAPAs you mentioned are to be applied in the supervision of doctor inside the clinic, or the patient can use it at home, ma'am. Like which one is more feasible and effective? Like what to prefer, ma'am?
See, once the patient finishes, if he comes for the treatment of Khalipia, so what is best according to me is you just do it in the OPD basis. As he comes, you just do the prachana, apply the LAPA by yourself, so that you see how the application is proper and how much uh, thickness is there. So all that you can see, right? So it's better you do it in the OPD basis rather than telling him to apply by himself. So if someone else applies, means if the person who is applying will be knowing how much and wherever he is applying. If you apply by yourself, it becomes very difficult. Many areas will be missed. So it's better you apply in the OPD basis whenever you are seeing the patient, you're treating the patient.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can generic Kalitya be reversed? If so, to what extent it is, ma'am?
Now, sorry, come again.
Can generic Kalitya, the Kalitya due to gene thing, is
Okay.
that can be reversed, ma'am?
See, genes, if they are involved, how can you reverse it? You have to just maintain it. Genes, if they're involved, you can reverse that. But yeah, you can maintain it and you can see to it that it is reduced. The hair fall reduces there. So even if the hair loss is there, you can give certain rasayana therapies, as I said before. Rasayana therapies is very beneficial in genetic and autoimmune conditions. So that can be done. Reversible, not possible in genes.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, is there any Ayurvedic yogas for hair wash?
Okay, first thing, you can go for hair wash. So yeah, there are many shampoos are available in lateral, like proprietary hair shampoos are available. So that can be used. And also, see to it that pH of the shampoo is like 5 to 7, and you mix it with any shampoo. If you are using, you use it mixed with the water. A little bit of shampoo with water is beneficial, any shampoo you use, but pH should be taken care of.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, is there any like ingredient that you have to see through when you're getting shampoo and all? Like for example, in Ayurvedic yogas, ma'am, like Kumari or something, which is you have to take care.
In the Ayurvedic shampoo, just go for the Kumari and all will be there, present there, but you have to go for pH. What is the pH? As I said before, pH can be looked into. Don't go for acidic shampoos. So 5 to 7 pH shampoos is fine.
Okay. Ma'am, can you relate the hair fall with the manasika gunas in if physiologically no alterations in metabolic functions, which type of gunas have more tendency, ma'am?
So manasika gunas, which will lead to hair fall, you're asking, right? They are
Yes,
asking.
ma'am.
Yeah. So mainly stress conditions will lead. So for example, if a software engineer is sitting in front of the laptop for whole night, and that it causes him the stress and also pressure on his brain. So that will lead to the blockages, dosha vitiation, and that will lead to the hair fall. So yeah, stress conditions will all lead to the temporary hair loss. So once that stress nidana is done, parivarjana, then again the hair growth will start.
Okay. Ma'am, the lepa you said of application, how long and how often should one do that lepa, ma'am?
See, as I said, after prachana karma, the lepa has to be done. Usually for 4 to 5 sittings, if we do prachana, then 4 to 5 times lepa we apply. But later also, if the prachana is stopped and internal medications are given, then you can go for lepa applications once in a week. Is okay. No problem with that. No issues. So just lepa application, if you have to do just once in a week, you can go for lepa application.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, and after pracharna, can we use other kashaya dravyas for application? You said lepas will be applied usually, but can we use kashaya dravyas? And if yes, then which single kashaya dravya, like a single dravya like Bringraj can be used, or like how, ma'am?
See, what we do once the Khalite patient comes in, Bringaraja whole plant we take, and we do the means paste. We put it in a mixie and do a paste of it, and then we apply it along with the Japa Pushpa, etc. So just Bringaraja full plant can be taken and made a paste of it and can be applied, or it can be mixed with japa pushpa or japa leaves, curry leaves, etc. And also one more thing, this Bringaraja churna also can be used mixed with the water, make a paste of it and you can apply it. So that also can be done. And one more is amalaki. Amalaki churna can also be used as a single application.
Okay. Ma'am, what is the
Is
right
that okay?
method for? Yes, ma'am, it is okay. But they have asked actually for kashaya dravyas for application, ma'am. Can
Yeah,
you go with
Bringaraja
that, ma'am?
single you can. Yeah, Bringaraja single you can go for application. Narikela you can use it for application. Eshti Maduka you can go for application. So all this can be used.
Okay. The next question, ma'am. What's the right method for Shiro Abhyanga massage? And how long should we keep oil in our hair and wash it?
So Shiro Abhyanga, once just go for a mild heating, means indirect heating of the oil once you take it, and then don't heat it for more long time also. And once you take a oil, just with the fingertips, you just massage smoothly all over the scalp, and then you leave it for almost like 2 to 3 hours. After that, you go for head bath. So this you have to do at least twice in a week, so that will be very beneficial. So don't massage very vigorously, just a slight massage is good, and don't pull the hair. While we go to some salons, we have seen many people, they pull the hair for relaxation procedure. So don't do that. The hair will be very means minute, means it will be prone for breakage at that stage while you are applying oil. So just go for a light massage, and then scalp massage is very beneficial. The hair application you do later, but scalp you apply oil first.
How
I
long
think it's
should we
clear.
keep the oil in our hair, ma'am?
See, usually we recommend patients not to keep it for more than 3 to 4 hours. Okay, but some of them usually keep it for whole night and sleep. The next day they wash it. So that also is recommended. But what happens there is the oil usually gets absorbed in the pillow cover itself. So it's of no use. So just when you are awake, apply oil and leave it for like 3 to 4 hours. And if possible, just take a mild steam for the scalp, and later you can go for head bath, head bath.
Okay. How to differentiate between hair loss of Rasavaha Shrotadrushti and Astivaha Shrotadrushti in OPD level, ma'am?
So
Ma'am,
first thing is
ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am.
become important here. He's debilitated. You first. Hello. Is that clear now? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am, now it's clear.
Oh, okay. So first thing, Rasa evaluation, Vridikshaya evaluation, I have told you before itself. So first thing, when the patient comes to your clinic, you suggest see for his body build, whether he is debilitated, how is his build. So you just look for that, and then you evaluate for the Rasa Kshaya Lakshanas, like Shabda Asa Ishnuta, as I said, and there will be palpitations in the heart region. So all this, if you examine, you will come to know that there is a Rasa Kshaya, and that has induced him hair fall. So if this pushti is not proper, if the rasa is only not getting proper, means he is not getting proper rasa, then asti will be directly debilitated, means it will be not nourished properly. So that can be taken as a thing. And if rasa is okay, but asti is getting shaya due to some reasons, due to nidana sevana, then you can go for asti kshaya lakshana evaluation. So that with that you can differentiate whether it is rasa janya khalitya or asti janya khalitya. I hope it's okay. It's clear.
Yes, ma'am. It is clear, ma'am.
Uh-uh.
Dr. Kritika Banerjee can ask a question now.
Good evening, Dr. Akshita ji.
Good evening, doctor.
Doctor, I came across one my friend's daughter. She's 12 and she has not attained Menarche yet. She's a
Yeah.
sports person and she got dengue in October. But after 3 months, she had a huge hair fall. Well, the
Okay.
CBCs were all fine, and later on, when checked, but her vitamin D was quite low, maybe 8 or 10. And because
Okay.
in the allopathic, they just relate with vitamin D as we also relate with the asthijane.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but obviously, as the body is itself a source of calcium, levels are very normal in the growing children. So,
Uh-huh.
normally, we don't need to give all these supplements right at that age. So, what
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be your clinical suggestion for it? Number one. Number two, is that Krimi Yog always mandatory in the hair fall in the small children, or it could be evaluated accordingly?
See, for the person, you said he's infected with dengue, right? Recently, dengue.
Sorry?
He was infected with dengue. He was suffering from
Dengue,
dengue.
yeah, dengue in October, but hair fall started in December, January.
Yes,
And it
doctor.
was huge. Like now they got a haircut just because of that reason. They were just coming out and it was in a bulk.
Okay, okay. So
And
let me
because she is
tell.
a sports person also, daily she goes for a sports. She has a sweating also, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe hair hygiene was one of the point which must be taken care of. But beside that, vitamin D relation with the children age and whether we should give like the supplements which you already have discussed from the Ayurveda point, Ras Rakt and Asthi Janya. Can you please elaborate for such cases?
Okay, let me tell you one thing before that. See, what happens is once the Dehoshma is increased in such conditions like dengue, etc., malaria, etc. So, acharyas have clearly said that due to Dehoshma, only the hair fall starts. Increased Dehoshmas causes the hair to fall off. So as I said, in telogen effluvium, what happens is such external factors will affect the hair fall, and it usually starts after 3 months. The hair fall becomes very significant. But once it crosses the 6 month, after that, it will surely stop. It will surely stop. But if it continues after 6 months also, you need to start worrying. But since you are saying there is a vitamin D deficiency here, it's better to go for bone mineral density as well, because in such dengue conditions, etc., what happens is these vitamins, minerals will be actually depleted. So it's better you can go for a Kukutanda Twak Basma. It's better if you start that, but no need to worry till 6 months. I suggest not to worry till 6 months because it will regain. But just go for Kukutanda Twak Basma as there is vitamin D deficiency,
Okay, okay,
along with Deepana and Pachana.
sure. And Krimi Yoga?
And creamy hara becomes important when he has got means external symptoms. If there is any white patches on his face, etc., then you can go for a creamy hara yogas.
Otherwise,
But
not
since
mandatory.
otherwise, no need. Adipana Pachana is enough, and then you can go for calcium supplementation according to Ayurveda. Need drugs you can choose. It's better
Okay.
go for Kukutanda Tokbasma.
And what do you say about this vitamin D pouches which are being given? So, like, and like, how you say? I
In the
mean,
modern, right?
yeah, but I mean, even the small children are being giving. I mean, they are being given all this about which is not actually
No,
mandatory
no,
and
no, no.
not needed at all.
It's actually no. It's actually not mandatory to give those supplementation externally because it will not actually affect him. It will not give him any profit. So it's better correct his Agni, correct him, give him Dipana Pachana, and later you can go for Ayurvedic supplementation. No problem. Don't go for those modern calcium supplementations. I suggest
Yeah.
it's
Thank you.
better. Okay.
Thank you.
Ma'am, thank you for answering all the questions with so much patience and sharing your valuable time. Due to some network connectivity issues, we're closing it in the early. So, thank you, ma'am. I would also like to thank all the dignitaries, guests, and delegates present today and make it a successful one. I also thank the people who are behind this Diksha webinar free series and Also, I would like to thank Ayurveda College Coimbatore. So we have come to the end of the session. Dear delegates, our next Diksha Free webinar series will be conducted on 24th February on the topic Role of Patya and Yoga in Healthy Pregnancy Outcomes by Dr. Rakesh Nayak, Assistant Professor, Department of Prasuti Tandra Evam Stri Roga, DJ Patel, Institute of Ayurvedic Studies and Research, Anand, Gujarat. Thank you everyone for joining us today. For further details on our upcoming sessions, stay connected with us on all the social media. Hope you all had a great evening. Good night.